Enjoy the convenience of 7 days a week banking and extended hours with Cube from First Arkansas Bank and Trust. Member FDIC. It's time for From the Short Grass with Trey Schaap, a golf podcast for those who love golf, struggle with golf, and just like to enjoy the outdoors and fellowship with friends, all while chasing a ball around trying to put it in a 4 1/4 inch diameter hole. From the Short Grass is brought to you by Stevens Incorporated, an independent financial services firm with the freedom to focus on what matters most. Blackman Auctions. For over 80 years, better auctions have always been Blackman Auctions. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels. We partner with you to deliver high-yield results by managing, developing, and investing in top-quality hospitality assets. And now, from the Short Grass, here is your host, Trey Schaap.
Welcome back to another edition of From the Short Grass. We're going to jump right to it. This is part 2 of my sit-down with Big Joe from Slater Mo. Joe Kleine, former Razorback great, NBA champion, and Olympic gold medalist on playing golf. Before we head to the break, I want to tell you about Blackman Auctions. Since 1938, better auctions have always been Blackman Auctions. Check out their lineup of upcoming auctions on the web, blackmanauctions.com. We're back with more From the Short Grass after this.
With all the decisions you need to make about what to do in El Dorado, finding a place to stay is an easy one. The Haywood is uniquely positioned to make your stay one to treasure. Located in the historic Union Square district of El Dorado, the Haywood offers luxurious accommodations that feature contemporary, colorful rooms with high-quality bedding, comfortable baths with walk-in showers, and a spacious workspace with stylish plantation shutters that are unique additions to the stunning decor in a non-smoking environment. Make the Haywood your home away from home the next time you visit El Dorado.
This is Thomas Blackman of Blackman Auctions. Trey asked me to sponsor a show for another few months. Even though I don't like golf, I do like his show. I have no idea how he gets the awesome variety of guests on his show, but it is entertaining and informative even for a horrible golfer like myself. I'm learning a lot about the game and about the passion for playing. So much so, I've started using my country club for more than Sunday brunch. Trey makes golf interesting. I make auctions interesting. For auctions, listen to me. For golf, listen to Trey. Since 1938, better auctions are Blackman Auctions.
Welcome back to From the Short Grass. We finish up our interview in this part 2 with Big Joe from Slater Mo on the tee, Joe Kleine. Charles Barkley has taken pictures with a lot of people, and he's a guy that I think everybody can grow to love. And a special moment took place a couple of years ago. My wife was in Las Vegas with the people she works with. One of their doctors had just been diagnosed with cancer, breast cancer. And my wife was going to the restroom, and she texted me. She goes, I think I just saw Charles Barkley in the restaurant we're sitting in. And I said, well, go up and talk to him. Tell him you know Joe Kleine. And so she went and talked to one of the guys that was standing there, and she says, is that Charles Barkley? He goes, yes, ma'am, it is. Well, I know Joe Kleine. Can I go say something to him? Oh, yeah, he doesn't mind. So she goes back there, and he goes, oh, yes, how you doing? What, Joe Kleine? Oh, I love Dana Kleine. Dana's so good. Dana's the best. But, Joe, that country bumpkin, no good, you know, and all this. And the next thing you know, he's asked to speak to the doctor who had the breast cancer and took pictures with the whole group. Yeah. And that is what Charles is.
No, he's
just a big teddy bear.
You're a good dude, man. Be like you with a lot of people of his stature that would be in a restaurant like that, you couldn't get to him.
Right.
He'd be roped off.
Especially in Vegas.
Right, you know better than me. Probably the first thing they asked him when he walked in there was like, you know, can we put you up here? Or and I've been with him when we played. We'd go out to eat all the time, and they would always say, do you want to, and, you know, he's like, no. You know, and we would sit down in a booth or a table right in the middle of wherever we were at. And, I mean, people would just come steady at him and never a mean word or anything. Just, you know, I've been around a lot of superstars, and he by far is the most gracious and nice to his fans by far. It's not even close.
Playing golf with Michael Jordan. How many times did you get to do that?
I did it the year I was with him. We were playing Charlotte. I think we were playing Charlotte in the playoffs, and we all went out a couple times in Charlotte and played. Too many people around. It didn't.
Well, being in Charlotte, North Carolina.
It's just, he's Charles Barkley times 1,000, and so
but he's good.
No, he's good, and we played and we had fun and everything, but it not my cup of tea. Not him personally, just
that much action around,
too many people around, just gawking and watching. And
who are some of the guys that you have gotten to play with that you really enjoyed the time with?
Well, Dan Marley and I had been on golf trips and stuff, and just had a lot of fun. Detlef Schrempf, I used to go. He used to have a huge charity event in Seattle every year that raised, hundreds of thousands of dollars for kids, and he would bring in all kinds of people, and just good dude. Another great, just good guy, and fun to be around. Played with Kevin McHale. He was fun. He's funny. Laughing and stuff. Doesn't take himself seriously. Larry's fun. He got a dry sense of humor. And just he was always needling and talking trash. Which is what he was good at. And funny. So just a lot of guys. I know I'm missing a few, but it's just, it's just fun to play golf. It's just, you can get out there and just kind of get away from everything and just have fun and relax. And a lot of times for those guys, that are kind of under the microscope so much, it's a nice place for them to get to where they can kind of let loose and kind of be who they want to be. And
it could be a public golf course or a private golf course, but you kind of get away from people.
Oh yeah. No, that's like when I played with Michael that one time. I'd be like, if I was Michael Jordan, I'd be like, look, man, this is my foursome. Y'all need to go away. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
But again, he's that. You get accustomed to what you get accustomed to, and it's been that way for him forever. So he probably didn't even notice those people, or care that they were around, or
was used to it.
Yeah, just another day.
Best trash talker on the golf course that you've played with?
Ooh. Yeah. I would probably say Marley. Marley's got some game, and so he'll, he can hit a long way, and he's, when I'd play with him all the time, I could hit it 250, 275, and he's up at 300 every time off the tee, and he'd always, how can such a big guy, only hit it, 270 or something, or something, just
little things,
in passing, just, I'll be up here, I'll drop you off and I'm going to drive up to my ball, stuff like that.
Right.
Your ball's, as you're walking up on the green, I'm on the green, and he'd point over, you're way over there,
I found it in that bunker over there,
right.
Joe.
Just pointing out the obvious.
Best trash talker on the court in your time?
Larry Bird. Because it was always subtle. It was never, if you watch any NBA highlights or anything, you never see Larry talking trash to anybody. Not a lot, but it was happening. But you didn't know about it. But some of the things he's said.
What's something he said?
Oh, just he would. When we would play, he would get under. Chuck Person was one that, because Chuck wanted to get him, and Chuck thought he was, And Larry, he'd be at the free throw line, and Larry would have inside position, and Chuck would be next to him, and he would laying down, and you could just see him, with his head down. I could only see the top of his head, but I'd see that head turn to Chuck, and you just know, and it was, I can't believe they got you guarding me. This is a joke. What makes you think you even belong out here with me? And I'm getting ready to torch you, and just, you have no business. I mean, this is a joke, you guard me. And it was all said very matter-of-factly and very,
direct.
And it was very bothersome. Because you would see just, you could see how it could really get under people's skin, and they would change in the course of a game, and a lot of times it worked to his favor because they would be trying to go at Larry instead of trying to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
To prove a point to Larry, but, Larry's just trying to get in your head and
he's trying anything he can to win the game.
Get an advantage.
Best golf course you've ever played?
Wow, that Pebble. Because we got Pebble. It's Dan Marley, Craig Bunker, and I, Chip Pisoni, another good friend from Phoenix, and we got Pebble on a 70, no wind, not a cloud in the sky day.
That is perfect.
And all the caddies were with us, and they were just looking at us and going, "You guys have no idea. No idea how good you got it right now."
I got Pebble, Joe, a couple of years ago, I believe 2017, July 3rd, 52 and misting.
I was out there just not playing golf on a vacation during spring break 2 or 3 years ago. We took the drive, what is it, the 7 mile drive, and it was raining. And my wife and my son were in there with me, and we were just driving, and everybody's out there playing. And Dana's like, and it's raining sideways. And Dana's like, "What are they doing? Why are they playing?" I was like, "Dana, you use it or lose it.
Yeah.
There's no rain check. You book your tee time, and if it's raining and you say, I don't want to play in the rain, thank you very much. Appreciate your contribution to the Pebble Beach Golf Foundation."
Exactly. So, it's kind of like the old course over in Scotland, too.
Yeah. So,
if the wind's blowing 35, you're playing.
Yeah. Tough,
Yeah.
And so, that and I always knew we got a really good weather day, but when I saw that, I was like, yeah, the old boy was right. It was, we teed off like at 9 o'clock and no wind and not a cloud in the sky. And then we played Spyglass too, and I like that too.
Yeah, I like Spyglass. You're a member of Pleasant Valley Country Club.
Yep.
Here in Little Rock.
Yep.
What makes it special?
Well, I just think it's like anything. I think it's the members. They have a great membership. Not Trey. You know me. I don't like to be treated differently than anybody else, and they don't treat me anything. They don't treat me differently. I catch more hell there than any place on the face of the earth, but I love it. I love it, and that's what I think. The people there, the Chris May's the pro, and all the pros, they're just good people. And then I and again, everybody says this about their track, but I think it's the best track in the state. From a consistent, fair, you see where you're going, a little bit traditional. You got trees, you got water.
You got 27 holes.
27 holes. I like that it cuts through a neighborhood and you got houses and, it just.
You don't hit any of those houses, do you?
I've hit every one of them. I tell you, when I first started playing, the Celtics gave me 6 dozen golf balls with the Celtic logo on it and my name and number. And I was like, this is so cool. And so I went out there and started playing, and for the whole summer, I'd be walking up, Mr. Kleine, I found your ball. Would you sign my ball? I found it in my backyard. I found it in we were pulling balls out of the lake, and we found your ball. And then, the guys Joe, man, I hit a bad one over there, and, Tom's backyard the other day, and saw a couple of your Celtic balls over there. So I was kind of like, I might not want to do that anymore.
Or you should have said, those weren't mine. I let my playing partners use them.
I gave those away.
Yeah.
So,
my buddy ran out of golf balls, so I gave him a sleeve. That's where those came from.
I'm a celebrity. I wanted to give something back to the kids at the Pleasant Valley. So.
Right. Where would you play in Boston?
there was a place called Charles River, and it was really a good neighborhood track, and we knew the pro there, and really we didn't get to play a whole lot because the weather.
Oh yeah.
But we played Brookline a couple times.
Okay.
It was nice, and they used to have a PGA event out in, I want to say Farmington, and they I think they still do. I don't know the name of it, but I can't remember the name.
There's a TPC Boston now.
I think it was named, it had a different name there.
Right.
Then, and TPC came in and took that course over, I think.
Right.
And that's where, I can't remember what it used to be called, but it was, we used to go out there and play a little bit.
Have you ever been to a Ryder Cup or a President's Cup?
I was there at Brookline. Dan Marley and I were there when the great comeback.
I imagine you don't have any problem seeing over the crowd.
No, it was just the thing that was so awesome about it that I loved is the heckling. I loved it.
Between the U.S. and the Europeans.
Yeah, because we would always joke, like when we're at the free throw line, we always like, quiet please. Have some dude standing behind, we're playing at Madison Square Garden against the Knicks, and all right, everybody be quiet. Joe's shooting free throws.
Right. Or the Madhouse on Madison in
There's,
Chicago when you're a Celtic.
So, that was what was so, when they hit a bad shot and everybody cheered, it was like, it was like, wow. It was really, really interesting.
Okay, so where were you when Justin Leonard's putt dropped?
It got so crazy that we made a decision because we wanted to see it. And even I couldn't see it. You could not. It was 15 deep.
Yeah.
All the way everywhere. And you couldn't move. If you didn't go 3 or 4 holes ahead, and then 16, 17, 18, they were already
right.
People
packed,
camped there.
Mm-hmm.
But as they were going along, you go here, and then you had to go 4 holes ahead. And so.
But you heard that roar when it dropped.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And you knew what had happened.
No, yeah. We got to where we could watch it on. We found a place where we could watch it on TV and see it. So.
Have you ever played with any PGA pros?
Oh yeah. I played Aaron Badley. He married our great babysitter in Phoenix, a girl who babysat for us for 8 years when we lived out there. She ended up marrying Aaron Badley. Dana comes in one day and is like, well, she's going to get married. And I was like, well, who's she marrying? She's like, some golfer. I don't think you've ever heard of him. And I was like, well, who is it? Aaron Badley. And I was like, yeah,
I've heard of him.
And so I've played with him. There was a guy who was my neighbor years ago in Phoenix and was playing on the senior tour named Howard Twitty. We used to play with him all the time. And we would go out. I remember we would go out to Greyhawk when Greyhawk in Phoenix just got built. And Peter Costas was out there, and Gary McCord, and Phil Mickelson. We'd go out there with Charles, and so we played a few holes with Phil and stuff like that. Out there you would see guys. They were everywhere.
Yeah.
Payne Stewart played. I didn't play with him, but went out to dinner and hung out with him. But they were everywhere. You'd be out playing golf, and you go, oh look, there's so-and-so.
Do you know when Charles played with either Jordan or Tiger or even Phil, would he ask for strokes then?
Well, I don't know that they even wanted him to play with them. No, I doubt it.
Because he's just that competitive.
I could see him with them because they're more his peers kind of. So I could see them, but me, he's like, I can beat you. And I'm not going to. But I know Michael would try to bankrupt him. I think Tiger would kind of be like, look, man, I got plenty of money. I don't need your money too. Michael wanted all the money. He didn't care that he had a truckload. He was like, I want your money too, just so I can say I got your money.
Fantasy foursome for Joe Kleine, living or deceased. Who would be in your fantasy foursome? Now, I'm gonna give you 4 golfers, so it'll be a 5-some, but you get to pick 4 golfers. And you could have played with them before or not at all, but you want to.
Well, I would always, and I'm going to take this out of the equation because I love playing golf with my sons, and I wish my daughters would have played,
picked it up,
but I couldn't get them going. And then my grandson is ate up with it, and so I love being out there. But I'll exclude them because that's kind of an obvious. Wow. That's a great question. I got overload going on right now in my head. There's so many guys that I've already played with that I I love playing with. I love playing with Dan Marley. He's just a good friend. I'd like him. I'm trying to give you some, real culturally great answer.
No, it's your answer. Somebody you would, you might not have ever played with him. You thought, that'd be a really cool person to play golf with.
Phil Mickelson looks like a guy that'd be cool to play 18 holes with, just because I think he'd be relaxed and he would make you feel relaxed. I haven't played. I used to play with him a lot way back in the day, but John Daly. I hadn't played with him in 40 years.
Well, Daly and Mickelson and Marley, they're hitting bombs.
Yeah, and there would be some good. There'd be some good banter.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be fun. And then if we're gonna, we're already there, so let's take the party, and it's in the club, and let's take it up into the VIP section and make it a really party. Throw Charles in there.
Could you see Charles Barkley and John Daly out there?
They called me about a month ago. They were in Atlanta. Daly was in there doing something, and I get a phone. It's a FaceTime call from Barkley, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And I press it, and Daly's looking at me on the phone, and I'm like, what are you doing? And then we were just talking about people we know from Arkansas, and I told him I knew you're
blankety blank,
redneck country bumpkin, And John said he knew you, and I said, well, let's give him a call. So, but no, I think that would be fun, a fun one.
Golf is a game you can play forever, isn't it?
Yeah, I just think it's just like, you can do business on the golf course. You can bond with your children on the golf course. It's just the things that you can do. It's like I was always like, there's such division in the country now. And I was like, man, if I was president of the United States, I'd be like, I would be grabbing some of those, if I was a Republican or if I was a Democratic president, I'd be grabbing Republicans. I'd be like, man, let's go play 18.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get away from all these clowns and let's get some beers and just play 18, talk a little crap, and diffuse everything and talk, And I think, I just don't understand, I don't understand. And I'm not saying golf would cure everything, but I'm just saying try to get into a place that golf provides to where you kind of can let your guard down and you're trying to play this unbelievably difficult game that is so hard and so humbling, but it's also so great. And it just, I just think it's the perfect conduit for anything you got going.
Don't say that too loud. I'll start it. Joe Kleine for president.
No, I'm the most unelectable human being. Anybody who knows me knows that would last about 5 minutes. They'd say, like, give us a comment, and then they'd be like, okay, well, we've decided to.
Joe, man, thanks for your time.
Trey.
I know you're busy. I appreciate it.
I love you. I love you. There's been about 5 times early Friday morning I've been driving to the airport, and it's been on, and every one of them I love. So you're doing a great job.
Appreciate it.
All right.
At Stevens, our philosophy is to invest every dollar as if it were our own, to seize opportunity, to anticipate rather than react, to deliver constant focus in an ever-changing world, and to pursue the objectives of our clients in order to help them reach their financial goals. A proven history of helping companies and individuals. Stevens, member NYSE SIPC.
This is Thomas Blackman with Blackman Auctions. Me sponsoring a golf show is great irony. I've been a phenomenally bad golfer for 30 years. I don't know the difference between a penalty area and a bunker. I like it, but I'm really bad. You listen to this show and to Trey because he's a great golfer and knows the game backwards and forwards. I know auctions like Trey knows golf. I've been a professional auctioneer for 30 years. I know auctions. Trey knows golf. Listen to the correct expert. Call me to learn about auctions, not Trey. Since 1938, Better Auctions or Blackman Auctions.
With all the decisions you need to make about what to do in El Dorado, finding a place to stay is an easy one. The Haywood is uniquely positioned to make your stay one to treasure. Located in the historic Union Square district of El Dorado, the Haywood offers luxurious accommodations that feature contemporary, colorful rooms with high-quality bedding, comfortable baths with walk-in showers, and a spacious workspace with stylish plantation shutters that are unique additions to the stunning decor in a non-smoking environment. Make the Haywood your home away from home the next time you visit El Dorado.
Welcome back to From the Shortgrass. Traveling around the great state of Arkansas and need a place to spend the night? Check out bphotels.com. Beechwood Pinnacle Hotels. bphotels.com. On the tee with our weekly rules segment, it's PGA Master Professional Adam Carney. Adam, the teeing ground. What is the definition of the teeing ground and the penalty for not being inside of the teeing ground?
So the teeing area now is defined by obviously two markers, and you would use the front edge of the outside of that marker and measure 2 club lengths back, and then the same distance across the width of the tee markers. Regardless of what they're using for a tee marker, it's the front edge of the tee marker, front meaning the direction of the hole being played, and the outside edge. You would measure from that edge back 2 club lengths. Then you would have that depth going back and then that same width going across.
So we see different types of markers when we look at PGA Tour events. You look at the Masters, they've got wood that they've gotten off of a tree sitting on the ground. That's the tee marker. You look at the FedEx St. Jude tournament that is over in Memphis, and they've got the FedEx trucks. You look at the John Deere, and they've got the tractors. So the tractor is on a base, so it would be the base of that is. And then you've got the Sanderson Farms where they have the chickens, the different colored chickens. I mean, there are all types of different markers that are out there. So it's the front edge and the outside edge.
Correct.
Let me ask you this question, because you are allowed to tee the golf ball up within that teeing area. Can you put a tee in the marker and tee your ball up even higher if you wanted to and hit it?
The answer is no. And the primary reason is, the maximum height of golf ball can be teed is 4 inches because of tee's length is 4 inches.
Okay.
So in theory, are you within the teeing ground under the circumstances? Yes. But you cannot put it on the tee marker itself.
The maximum height that a ball can be off of the ground is 4 inches within the teeing area.
Correct. 4 inches is its maximum length of a tee.
Okay, so if you tee off outside of that area, what is the penalty?
So if you place your ball outside of that rectangular area in stroke play, you're going to be penalized 1 stroke, and you're going to have to put another ball in play. And then in match play, there's no penalty. However, your opponent can require you to replay it. Exactly. So you're on a par 3. You play from outside the teeing ground. You
make a hole in one.
Make a hole in one.
You got to replay it, parts.
Your opponent's The good news is there's no penalty. The bad news is you're still laying 0. Try it again.
Let me ask you this, though. Let's say it is a par 3 or maybe even a shorter par 4, and you're going to use like a 3-wood, maybe a hybrid or an iron, and you don't want to tee the ball up. You just take your club and you kind of create a tee with the ground there.
Yep.
That allowed?
Yep, that's okay. That's fine. You are allowed to create an irregularity of surface. I don't do it. I don't know. It's a mental thing with me, I guess. I'm thinking. I just remember Jack Nicklaus saying, "Hey, anytime you get a chance to put a ball on the tee, put it on the tee." Because when I was a kid, we go to a par 3, I'd just throw it down and kind of try and find a decent lie. And I just remember Jack saying, not to me personally, obviously, but hey, anytime you get a chance to put a ball on a tee, put it on the tee.
Right.
So I've always done that. I mean, I can get a tee as low as I can and still be in the same position as creating that irregularity. So the other important thing to note is the ball must be teed within the teeing area. Does not mean the player must be standing within the teeing area.
Correct.
So you may tee the ball to one side, to say if you're a right-handed player, to the far left side of the teeing area, but you're standing outside the teeing area. That's completely acceptable.
He's Adam Carney, our rules guru. If you've got a question on the rules of golf, send us an email from theshortgrass@gmail.com. That will do it for this edition of From the Shortgrass. I want to thank Joe Kleine for taking the time to sit down with me over these last 2 episodes. When you find your ball mark on the green, remember to fix it and a couple of more. And I hope to see you from the short grass.
You've been listening to From the Short Grass, a weekly podcast dedicated to the game of golf. This has been a presentation of the Buzz Radio Network.